News special report of Great Jakers 1113 with the John of Doom. Doom, as you know, now we're in live in the News to Stage channel. John, what are you expecting to see from this press conference?
Still knows, and who knows, we may actually be here for not even a big thing. It might be just a representative who might get impeached. But all the suspicion so far, the way this was been told, it's been leading people to suspect it might be the president, vice president, someone maybe in the cabinet even. But we just don't know until Technozo speaks at 9 o'clock on dot.
Yeah, let's get you caught up on the latest headlines here in Nusa.
We don't have the latest headlines, do we? All we know is the man, the legend, the Technos is on stage. T minus 20 minutes till drop. He announced yesterday at around 8:18 Eastern, I'll be holding a emergency press briefing at 9 o'clock Eastern tomorrow night in the News Events channel. As speaker, I took an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies. He later said this morning at around 11:12 Eastern that he would expose a betrayal of duty so egregious it threatens the very integrity of our nation's institutions. Some have speculated this would be the impeachment of President T. Soups, as Vice President Alex J. Cabot has posted a GIF saying, "I'm going to be president," suspecting that it might be the president. However, parties have came out against the impeachment of the alleged impeachment of the the president, as Nassima saying, quote, congressional members of the Democratic Party and Forward Party have vowed not to entertain or convict the President of the United States in an impeachment proceeding, all but raising no doubts that the President may not actually be impeached. We're waiting for further confirmation on that. Later tonight, we do have Nasanova in an interview on Doom Live explaining the plutocratic party ever since the events happened. Do we have any other news to bring? I'm not good at like news headlines about a script. Yesterday, I believe. Yesterday, local elections kicked off yesterday at around 12:08. What? As of our as of the previous count, 4 candidates have announced their intentions of running for DC mayor. Uh, where was it? I'm hearing someone that wants me to get food. I might have to leave in a couple of minutes. But regardless,
Okay.
Go ahead.
It's okay. Jake
Oh,
Tapper can take over.
okay. Give me a second. When we bring people up, give their thoughts. The lines are now open. Let's bring up Dylan. We're live. Someone, I'll be back in a minute.
I just have a couple of comments.
Sure thing.
I just want to say that Oliver's favorite food is beans and rice, and then beans and toast as well. And that's all I had.
All right, thank you. Let's get someone else up here. I don't have the ability to bring people up, so I'm gonna have to rely on Adam. Oliver wants to come up. Okay, Oliver.
No, not yet. Not yet, Oliver.
Okay.
Impeachment. Hey guys.
Adam, I'm pretty sure this isn't your show.
It is now.
What, you don't want me on the stage?
Jake, accept friend request.
Okay. Hold on, let me. Pending. Thank you, Adam. All right, thank you for that those kind words. Is that T Soups asking to be brought up? I'm gonna have to check. I just got a DM from T Soups. Hold on. Okay, T Soups, can we get
Hello?
T Soups up here? Hello.
Hey, I'm here. What's going on, guys?
We're currently just waiting for the speaker's imminent press conference. Lots of speculation about what it would be. What do you think of this? What do you make of it?
I don't know. I mean, everyone's telling me I'm about to be impeached. We'll see.
Do you believe?
Technozo is a member of my own party, and I've done nothing to be impeached, so we'll see.
Oliver,
Mm-hmm.
do you know anything? Do you have any speculations or ideas about this?
I can't comment right now. I'm gonna speak to it just a second. Sorry, somebody.
All right.
What the?
So overall, just we are just currently waiting for this press conference to begin. Okay, let's get they send up there. Lines are open. Let's get they send.
Hey guys.
Hello.
Hi, Nathan. How are you?
I'm on the edge of my seat, bro. Like, I don't want T to be impeached, but if there's juicy evidence, bro, I'm all for this drama, man. I'm sorry.
Hello?
T.
Hello?
Is there juicy evidence, bro? I've been asking.
I
I've
would
been
say-
trying to figure it
What
out and see what
evidence?
the hell
What
is
have I
going on
done?
here.
I'll tell you what, it ain't me.
Yeah?
Whatever this is about, it ain't me. Because I haven't done anything except serve this country to the best.
Jakers, check DM.
Okay.
Every decision I've made has been in good faith and for the betterment of our community.
Well, I feel like that's pretty much the whole thing from your administration. That's all I've seen so far. I mean,
Is
we've had a
greatness?
couple. Not like okay. Listen, I came out and I spoke against a couple of your decisions, so I won't say pure greatness, but yes, you've been doing good. Okay.
Your greatness.
Other than my no, listen, don't hype yourself up more than I'm giving you. Okay.
I deserve a bit of hype, but it's chill.
It's a bit of hype, yeah. First woman president, and you're actually doing good. I see why George is mad.
Oh,
all right.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll
But
take that.
all in all, though, I won't say like pure greatness, though. Like you've had your slip ups, you've had your scandals, blah 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 blah. But I haven't seen anything pretty much impeachable yet. You know, like. But we're talking about Technozo here. So Technozo digs. He's known for digging and getting stuff that nobody else would think to get. So if it is an impeachment, we're in for a wild ride.
All right. Thank you for that. They send. Who do we want up here? Let's get Roomy Banana up here. They're requesting it. As I have, let's see. Never mind, they put their hand down. Audience is filling up rather quickly. Let's get Mr. Chu. Mr. Chu.
Oh goodness.
Mr. Chu?
Thank you, T. Thank you. I just want to say, if T did something really damning, then like, sure, let's impeach her. But honestly, I don't really want Alex in the White House. I don't think anybody does.
Wait. Why does everybody think this is about me?
Because like, what else could it be?
What do you mean? What else can it be?
I think it's
I-
overblown. I don't think it's gonna be your impeachment or anything, but like, I think it's gonna be some like really boring shit at this point. I don't see it being your impeachment.
I don't know. Tech's been hyping this up.
I know, but now it's like overhyped. It's gonna burn out.
Overhyped.
Like,
Oh,
look at this.
no.
There's like 50 people in the audience right now. It cannot be that
All
good.
hating.
Like,
I
have you
mean-
committed any crimes recently? That's the only thing I could think of.
No.
I
I don't
mean,
commit crimes.
we have some things.
Hi, kids. I'm back.
We do have some things here at FTN that could entertain it possibly being something else.
I mean, I guess there's the Ridgeway
Jakers,
stuff.
Jakers,
That's
check
all I
DM.
could think of.
Okay.
Jakers, check DM.
I'm back, kids. What's up? There was food.
John of
And-
Doom, check DM. John of Doom, check DM.
That's
John
not very
Doom, check
nice.
DMs.
We're so Patterson. But yeah, keep T Soups in the White House. We absolutely do not want Alex. Those are my thoughts on the current situation. It's not even going to be here impeachment. I don't know why we're having this up so much.
Okay.
Yes. God, I'm not voting for Kamala Harris. No, shut up. Hey,
51 people in the
apparently,
audience.
being told by the newsroom
And we
that
have
we
a
have to
breaking
toss
news
it over to
story.
Jake.
Or
Yes,
Adam
go, Jake.
Stratton.
Go ahead, Jake. Tapper.
Tapper. Jake Tapper.
Yeah,
Oh, is he not even on?
here he is.
Reporting live with CNN, I'm Jake Tapper, reporting live in Washington, D.C. We've got a confidential source telling us today on a condition of anonymity that the Speaker of the House is pursuing impeachment articles against the Vice President of the United States. This in part
Big if true.
in a letter that has yet to be released to the public, stating, members of the American public, last week I was honored to be elected as your Speaker of the House. As Speaker, my duty is to safeguard the integrity of our institutions and to ensure those in power act with the highest ethical standards. Tonight, I must address deeply concerning statements made by our Vice President. He has openly admitted to treason by neglecting his duties to NUSA, prioritizing personal ambitions over his
I don't
responsibilities as Vice President.
Why is Adams recommended Iron Man, The Dark Knight,
Okay.
The Boys?
Excuse me, Jake
Let's talk
Tapper
about
here.
that.
Excuse me, Jake Tapper
Yeah,
here. We have,
Excuse me,
we have
Jake.
White House commentator. We have White House commentator Oliver here
Let's
Mhm.
talk about that. Yeah.
responding to the White House. Oliver, what's your response?
Yes, Jake. So today we've received some concerning reports from the Speaker's office. Now, we have been hearing for a while that there has been an internal power struggle in the White House. That President T. Soups and that Alex J. Cabot, the Vice President who is set to become impeached, have actually been fighting a lot, screaming around the office. And of course, there is reports of a highly toxic working environment in the White House. So today,
Oliver.
we've spoken with the Speaker and various others, and what we have established is that the Speaker is now dead set on getting the Vice President out. Unfortunately, the White House has become too toxic, too many people leaving, too much chaos, and the Speaker says now is the time, and he believes he has the votes to do it.
I'm reporting here from a confidential source inside the White House that the Vice President is currently rolling in his grave, quote unquote, and that the Vice President is, quote unquote, crashing out. We've got here the President of the United States, T. Soups, here to respond. Madam Vice President, thank you for coming on, Jake Tapper.
Did you just call me Madam Vice President?
Madam President, thank you for coming
Yeah,
on.
let's,
with Jake Tapper.
Let's get that straight, first of all. I'm the
Do
President.
you have
Oh,
comment
this is
on
great.
the,
This is
the
great.
impeachment articles against your Vice President?
There are no impeachment articles against my Vice President. I would love to see them if you ever tried. Alex has done nothing but devote his life to this country. He's neglected his
I am
own home
reviewing
country
here,
for
Madam
America.
President, I have been given an advance copy of the Speaker's statement that is set to be released in a few minutes here in his press conference.
So
I
have
have
I.
here screenshots. I have here screenshots of the Vice President trying to plot to overrule and take over the Supreme Court, in part by trying to quote
Well,
unquote destroy the Chief Justice in the court by quote unquote manipulating the members of the Supreme Court to issue statements against the Chief Justice. Does the White House have comment?
The White House would like to say that that is all false and that you guys are believing CNN's Jake Tapper, who is here
So,
to simply
T.
stir the pot.
Yeah,
Yes.
he did say that. But T, you said you have an advanced copy of the statement? Could we see that advanced copy so we can debunk all this right now?
I think
it's
that
not
Adam has it,
this.
actually.
Yes, I do have the advanced copy of it here
Send it.
for our friends here at FTN, and the lead has been asked to keep this confidential before the speaker makes his press conference, to keep this confidential and to let him, quote
Is
unquote,
that true?
take the
5
thunder.
minutes left.
Why don't you
I
drop
have
it?
minutes left.
I am literally
You read it.
looking at the
Drop it.
document from the speaker dated August 14th for immediate release from Speaker Technozo, including screenshots of cabinet in various White House group chats with various White House advisors plotting to remove the Supreme Court by impeaching everybody. The vice president attempted to, and there are screenshots of this, tried to impeach half of the Supreme Court last week until other people intervened. There are other screenshots here where he is speaking to you, Madam President, stating that in part, I will blow up the Supreme Court, quote unquote, and quote unquote, we must destroy the court, and Alex J. Cabot must be the Chief Justice. Madam President, how do you respond to these allegations?
Firstly, I'd say that honestly, Cabot would be like a pretty good Chief Justice.
We've got here Van Jones here from CNN. Oliver, go ahead, please. What do you have to say on this?
Yes, definitely. So, I mean, we've heard a lot from the president tonight, a lot of rhetoric, but what we're actually hearing from the White House is that people are scared. That
Who
Alex J.
is
Cabot,
saying
the
this,
vice
Oliver?
president,
Oliver?
is about
Oliver?
Okay, it's
Then
this is getting out of
unfortunately-
hand. This is getting out of hand. Please let our own Van Jones respond, Madam President, please.
What?
Yes, we are seeing a lot of toxic atmosphere. And of course, you mentioned the Supreme Court. There is
Can I
a
have the
huge
evidence?
topic in the White House currently. They are
We
planning
have the
on removing
evidence.
the Supreme Court, and they are trying to change the Constitution to actually get rid of the Supreme Court. That's something I've heard. Now, President
can't-
T. Soups, Vice President Cabot, they have been fighting over this battle. This is a hill that the president wanted to climb. Now, the vice president has been causing a lot of trouble for the president in the previous days, and members of the Supreme Court are very, very upset.
I have here a White House advisor close to the White House Chief of Staff just sending us a message here, quoting in part, and we're keeping them anonymous for to protect their anonymity.
Hold on,
They're
we got
stating that
breaking
White
news
House-
from the Supreme Court. An announcement from Daryl Powell says the Supreme Court has no important announcements dropping tonight, in case anyone was wondering. God bless America. That's a statement from the Supreme
we
Court.
have here a source close to the White House Chief of Staff stating that, in part, Mama Gobies is attempting to change the Constitution and will amend the Constitution completely to remove the Supreme Court and enact a world government. Mama Gobies has, quote unquote, been steadfast and obsessed with the idea of removing Tony as Chief Justice and the rest of the Supreme Court. We have here the White House Chief of Staff, Mama Gobies, here to respond for this. He has decided to come up here. We appreciate his time. Mr. White House Chief of Staff, thank you for coming on CNN's The Lead.
I just want to say your allegations are mischaracterized because I'm not abolishing the Supreme Court. I'm actually putting myself in as President, Chief Justice, and Speaker of the House. That's the real plan.
We've got it here, folks.
Supreme
so
Leader
are you admitting that the
You know, the
administration
dictatorship-
is trying
The
to take
dictatorship is coming.
No.
Is that what the administration is admitting to tonight?
The administration is promising a Gobi's dictatorship in the upcoming months.
I mean, I would want no one else
Wow.
as dictator, truly.
Wow, what a bomb,
Same
what a
leader.
bombshell admission from the White House Chief of Staff of the T-Soups administration. What a bombshell.
The people support it. The people support it, and they, just look for their pens. Everyone, you see these pens
this is
around, you see these
incredible.
armbands around. You see
we,
these
we have
armbands
an
around, they mean something.
extraordinary we have an extraordinary admission here tonight, and in a complete reversal here, we have a Supreme Court justice who is willing to break all rules of government ethics and their own ethics to come up here and speak
Hello to our viewers on FTN. You're watching FTN. We're going to take you away from Adam Stratton. It's 9 o'clock, and we're going to take you to that press conference in just a moment. Speaker is now going to begin speaking.
Met's dog here? Because he asked. He's my representative. Met's dog. Met's dog. Where's Met's dog?
He needs to. Oh, there he is. Yeah, now he
Yeah.
can join.
Thank you. Okay. So here's how this is going to work. First, good evening, everybody. I hope your day has been well. So I'm going to just give a layout how this is going to work. I'm not going to repeat myself. You will see how I'm going to show you my findings in a bit. So first, I'm going to start off by presenting the House's work. Afterwards, I'm going to upload a statement into the Congressional Updates channel. Then JT Port will speak, and then representatives from the White House will be given an opportunity to comment. And then we will take questions from the press and then from the public. So I'm going to start now. 2 weeks ago, I was elected speaker by my colleagues. When I took my oath, I swore that I would protect and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. A few weeks ago, I received information from the Vice President that an individual high in our government not only failed to protect our institution, but actively surrounded themselves by people who helped conspire with them to keep themselves in power at the expense of one of our most powerful institutions. Before I go into who this person is and what they exactly did, I want to first start off by thanking the Vice President for his work and members of the House of Representatives, including the Judiciary Committee, for obtaining this proof and getting to the bottom of this. Because NUSA isn't just defined by screenshots, we have to understand what happened and how it happened. Here's what we found. The House of Representatives has found that the Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court neglected his judicial duties in favor of personal ambitions, using his position to manipulate foreign policy for personal gain, and compromising the integrity of the office. These actions represent a severe breach of trust and an abuse of power. Here's how this happened. The Chief Justice is a part of the United States American Role Play Group. Currently, he's ranked as a cabinet official. The group chats, which I will show momentarily, show him running for president of the United States in that group. In that group, and in those specific group chats, he actively boasted about how he neglects his duties as Chief Justice and how he worked to use his influence from stopping NUSA from entering a United Nations if he were elected president in that group. This behavior by the Chief Justice, at the very least, shows a clear, convincing conflict of interest, and at most, it is high treason to the people of NUSA. The House Judiciary Committee wanted to investigate why the Supreme Court was inactive as a result of 2 resignations on the court. We found that the Supreme Court failed to implement any basic internal controls in terms of reporting inactivity. Everything was done through secret group chats intentionally designed to prevent any sort of investigation. In fact, when justices were subpoenaed, they even went as far as stating that they were not responsible to report anything from group chats to conferences about justice inactivity. Now, connecting why this matters to what the Chief Justice did, we attribute the Supreme Court's failure not only to eradicate inactivity, but also hold their Chief Justice accountable on a lack of segregation of duties and also the over-concentration of authority in one man, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. As a result of his actions, immediately, the House of Representatives is calling for the following in 12 hours. First, the Chief Justice must issue a public apology for his actions. Second, the Chief Justice must implement a strong, enforceable code of ethics. And lastly, the Chief Justice must authorize the creation of an independent Inspector General's office and potentially the creation of a military-style board of governors controlled by group managers to stop the consolidation of power by one person. Our goal in the House of Representatives is to promote accountability, not impeachments, and ensure that our institutions are safe. The longer the Chief Justice goes without implementing basic, sound, good government changes, the longer our judicial system suffers. As long as I am Speaker, I will not rest until every official in our government is held accountable for wrongdoing. Thank you very much. I would like to welcome now JT Port on the stage. I'll be uploading the statement to the Congressional Updates Discord for you all to see.
Hi guys, my name's JT Port. A lot of y'all know me. I'm a longtime group member. So let me just give a little bit of background. A lot of y'all know I spent time as a lawyer and attorney in NUSA. And a lot of y'all know that I've always wanted to be on our Supreme Court. So 2023 came around and I found myself presented with the opportunity to work as the Supreme Court clerk. And I was extremely excited. I mean, this was going to be the opportunity of a lifetime, and it was going to set me up for that nomination down the line. But the experience was truly miserable. The day they motioned and passed me and I became the clerk, I was added to a group chat, and from there, the group chats just continued to sprawl. Without any sort of oversight or control, it quickly became apparent to me that the Supreme Court wasn't being run in the fashion that the Constitution is set up, and it wasn't being run in a manner that reflects the American public's interest in line with law. I was quickly berated by Tony to get on the ball because at the time, Congressman and former Justice Sins was inquiring about impeaching the Chief Justice and other key SCOTUS members. To be honest, y'all, Tony turned it all on me and fired me on the spot. The Congress inquiry died, the Senate inquiry died, people stopped talking about it, and I was the one that had to take that bullet for Tony. He blamed every bit of inactivity, inaction, and on me. And we're talking about justices such as Turntable and Stixa, who are maybe good for a message once every 2 weeks. Maybe if you tag them 30 times, they're going to respond. But Tony came after me, someone who's been a long-term member of our community, and that just didn't sit right. When I saw this renewed opportunity into these investigations, I knew that I wanted to get out there and share this story because our Supreme Court is not one that's working in the interest of our people. Our Chief Justice is tied up in other groups manipulating foreign policy to advance that group's interest. That's not what we've ever wanted on a Supreme Court. We wouldn't want that as a president, a vice president, a Congress member, or any sort of judge. But Tony was doing it, and he's done it with reckless abandon. No one has cared until now, which is why I felt that it was important to share this. Tony controls the entirety of the Supreme Court. You all saw that. The minute the impeachments began, Tony turned against his own justices, insulting them in judicial announcements before quickly retracting it. But we, the American people, we're smarter than that. He showed us his true colors. Tony is an evil that has been plaguing our judicial system. It's led to inactivity, ineffectiveness. We have lost good justices that have either gone inactive or just stopped caring because of the way Tony runs the court. He bludgeons people with, just abusive words and belittles their ideas. And he does all this in group chats, which are outside of the moderation scope of NUSA. So I felt it was extremely important, and I'm extremely thankful that Technozo brought me up here. But y'all need to know that the Chief Justice is not working in the American interest. He's manipulating foreign policy. He's got a firm grip on the court. They do exactly what he wants, when he wants. But the funny thing is, he never wants to do anything because he's so tied up in other groups. And when it came down, push to shove, he turned the bullet on me and fired me, and he turned on his fellow justices that had sat on the court with him for months to years. He turned on them and started insulting them immediately, all in the hopes of clinging to power. I pray that Congress and the administration and the American public can see that the Supreme Court is controlled by a tyrant, and that is not something we should have in NUSA. Thank you for bringing me up, Mr. Speaker, and I hope that y'all know our judicial system does need more help than it seems like.
Thank you very much, JT. I really appreciate it. You know, a lot of people from the Supreme Court, they're worried because the legal field in NUSA is often very consolidated. Before this current president, before the prior president, in order to become a judge, you had to kiss his ring, almost like Don Vito Corleone. This behavior is disgusting. It's outright wrong. And the fact that the Chief Justice not only thought he was arrogant, but that he could simultaneously, as serving as our Chief Justice, which is one of the highest honors in this group, and also berate, treat horribly his own clerk who serves him, is just despicable and just crazy. So I want to thank you so much, JT, for coming forward. I know you're busy right now. But I really appreciate you taking your time and sharing really your story, which is really important. I want to invite now next, before we go on to questions from the press, I want to invite a representatives from the White House, either Oliver or T, to come on and give their statement.
Adam, I have to interrupt. Your screen is still on, and I think there's like sensitive information being shown.
Hello.
Nope, nothing sensitive.
Hello. I want to say, as someone from the executive branch here looking in, Tony absolutely has to go. I don't think people understand the gravity of the situation. How many Chief Justices have we had in NUSA over the past 12 years? What is it, like 9? Is that correct? 9 in 12 years, and we've had 53 presidents. This is not a position that you mess around with, okay? People were here for years. And this guy comes in, is placed in Chief Justice, is trusted by our community, and he goes and works with another USA, firstly, which is already jarring, becomes president of that USA, openly admits in that USA's general chat that he doesn't care about NUSA and would rather devote time to USAR. His direct quote here: "By the way, I've neglected my court in NUSA because I was over here the whole time. Whoops. 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 The Chief Justice is going to say whoops for neglecting his duties in NUSA. No. That is not how we roll here. That is not how I want to see our judicial branch run. Whoops doesn't cut it, Tony. Okay? You're done. I hope to see you gone." When Tony came up to me and said that he had problems with the Supreme Court and that he wanted help getting rid of the inactive justices, both branches of government lended him a hand. We said we'd help you. Then what does he do? He makes blasphemous statements in the judicial branch channel. He goes after his fellow justices and then goes back on that statement like 10 minutes later. It's absolutely insane. This man should not be trusted to lead our judicial branch, and it's preposterous that he was ever placed in this role. Tony, you are over.
Thank you very much, Madam President. You know, not only as the first female president, but you've been one of the only people to have served our nation as president. You know the responsibilities and how the trust and honor that the public gives you is that it's trust.
Mm-hmm.
Once you break it, that's it. Tony has undoubtedly broken that trust. And
For
I'm
sure.
so grateful that you as a president are standing up against this tyrannical, really dictator of the Supreme Court. And it's time that his reign come to an end. But we need people to act, and the Chief Justice needs to act. Without reform, we will see another Tony again. And that's not what we want to see. We want to see accountability. We want this group to be a well-oiled machine where people can thrive, where people can learn law. You know, a lot of people in the general chat, they're posting screenshots of who the past justices were. I know some of those justices, those chief justices. I can tell you a handful of those actually went on to become lawyers. The reason is because they were given an opportunity in this group to serve. Tony not only is depriving people of that opportunity by surrounding himself with cronies that only serve his interest, but he abused his power and his trust that people have given to him. And it's time that this stops. So thank you so much, Madam President. I really appreciate it. And now I will be taking questions from the press and then afterward the general public. So if any members of the press, welcome.
Yeah, hi, John Doom, FTN News. I'm wondering, since in your initial document you call for a couple of things: an apology, a creation of independent inspector general, and an enforceable code of ethics. My main question, I think, the question from everyone's mind is, why not go ahead with an impeachment? Why have these demands instead?
Well, the reason is there's a couple reasons for it. So first off is that we already have held several justices accountable. So we're just waiting for the White House to announce their appointments, which they're going through a comprehensive vetting process from what I was last told. And that will be over with shortly. So we have gotten what we want partially. But the second thing is, and probably the most important reason, is that a lot of people are tired from impeachment fatigue. And so we don't want to go ahead and pull the trigger. I want to see what the Chief Justice's response is. And I have gone through a lot of impeachments of pretty much every single office in NUSA, from Secretary of State, President, Chief Justice. So I have experience with that. And I don't want to drag the nation in another impeachment. But the reality is reform needs to come, and it doesn't come from just removing one person. You have to implement a whole system so that way it doesn't happen again. As I mentioned in the press conference, in my written statement, I mean my oral statement, that the justices are just actively just a part of his cult. They just do what they say. In fact, he's even here in the audience. 103315 was serving as the legal counsel for all of the justices that appeared before us in the Judiciary Committee. So it really just shows they didn't even try to hide it. The fact is, Tony tells you, this is the lawyer. He tells you what to say. You follow what he says. Otherwise, you don't get to write opinions. You will be chastised in judicial updates. This is not the kind of behavior of the Supreme Court. This, frankly, should be the normal behavior of politicians. I mean, he released a statement like a week ago that berated his justices. I mean, this kind of childish behavior, it just needs to stop, honestly. But we will act. If necessary, we will act. And he should know that.
What gives you confidence that he will act upon this?
I think that the general sentiment of people, I don't see anybody here that's defending him. What he said is downright abhorrent at the least. I mean, it's so arrogant how he can explain himself. So he has to do something.
Okay, and a couple more questions on that. You said earlier there was a judicial vetting system in place for the next Supreme Court appointments. Do you think Josh Miller is part of that?
I am not aware of any group managers of Josh Miller being a part of that. I believe he was a former justice. I know he was a president. But any questions on vetting, you'll have to go through the White House to answer that if they're interested.
So if Tony, let's say, I actually asked him for comment, but he's not responding at the moment. But let's just say that he stays silent. What's the game plan?
We'll just have to act. There's no choice. We have to go for impeachment. There's no choice.
Do you think the public's confidence in the judicial system's impacted by this?
Absolutely. I don't think any member of the public trusts the Supreme Court. And I think, unfortunately, John, for you, I think the same goes for federal judges. I mean, the fact
I was
is,
just about to ask. Do you think the? Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry.
if you're a prosecutor right now, or if you're a defense, if you're in the defense, I actually would be worried for you. I would be worried for them actually, because I feel like if they go to court, they don't trust them. They don't trust them because they feel like Tony controls everything. He's like the hidden godfather. What's the faith in the court, really? I don't see any faith in the court if one man can just tell you on a whim that you can only become a judge if I say so. Your opinions will only go out if I say so. Like, what behavior is this, right? So
One final question: do you have there might be some people who think the recent actions, the recent impeachments, and the recent resignations of associate justices are part of a alleged plot to remove people from the Supreme Court by the president. Do you have any response to that?
I'll answer that in the strongest possible terms. Impeachment, first of all, impeachment has never gotten harder in NUSA history. These judges chose to resign voluntarily. They could have had the guts, the manpower to sit and stand trial in front of everybody. If you don't want to get impeached as a justice, don't violate the Constitution. The Constitution says if you're severely inactive, then you can be impeached for that. Turntable literally said he does not do stuff here anymore. I mean, and
So
six some. I think
you said impeachment earlier was harder to obtain. You said that, right?
Yes, that's correct. It's
But
just
if everyone is a part of the majority party, do you think it's not that difficult?
No, well,
After all,
let me just complete my statement. So both of those justices they themselves, they admitted that they were inactive, right? So to say that this is a hidden coup that the president is doing is not fair. The House is pushing this. The president can't just go in like in third world countries and say, justices, get out or I'll call the National Guard here. That's not how we do things here. We have a constitution, we have a process, and the process is so that if a justice violates the Constitution, the House of Representatives takes it up, and the Senate holds a trial. It's mandated. We actually had a Vice President Zayed at the time. He had his impeachment overturned because he didn't have a trial. They have a trial, and then there's a conviction, or an acquittal. So to say that this is a hidden coup by the president is factually incorrect.
do you think that the appointees would be more sympathetic to T-Soups or any future administration?
No, Supreme Court justices historically are apolitical.
That's all the questions I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there any other member of the press or any senator that wants to come up? If not,
There is someone named NASA Nova who
Yes,
keeps
NASA
spamming me,
Nova
Technozo.
wants to respond to T-Soups' statement. If we could bring him up, please.
and David Goggins said he's
To
a
my
former clerk,
statement.
so if
Yeah, the one you said before we opened up the floor to questions. Well, you opened up.
Good
Anyway.
afternoon, everyone.
Yes, NASA. You were originally supposed to be booked you were originally booked for an interview on Doom Live later tonight, but you said you wanted to respond to T-Soups' statement.
Well, it's not just T Soups. I would honestly like to agree with most of what's being said. I mean, as a Chief Justice, you really shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be acting in this sort of way. But at the end of the day, we need to talk about what's legal and what's illegal. And I frankly don't think that what he did was illegal. And to impeach him because of this, it's not really treason. Treason is when you could appointed a Secretary of Homeland Security that was a former criminal. That was treason.
That's not
This is not
treason.
Yes, it is. Okay, but anyways, I do not support a conviction of a Chief Justice simply because he is more entitled to his time to another group. I think at the end of the day, this is a game, okay? People are allowed to be a part of other communities. We shouldn't shun people for being a part of other communities, even if they hold high important positions here. I think this was a really narrative play. This is a coup. This is what this is. This is a coup. And Alex J. Cabot, the vice president, has been so radical to impeaching all these justices to get him and Mama Gobies on the Supreme Court and eventually become Chief Justice. It's always been a dream of his. So I just do not support a conviction of Tony. I don't support a conviction of any justice if they haven't done anything actually illegal. I think this is just this is his choice. I mean, if he wants to be part of another community that bad, he can do that. If he says and uses trust and likes USA or more, there's nothing illegal and there's nothing wrong with that. But I mean, he's more than welcome to resign. Don't get me wrong. this is like a targeted attack on our Supreme Court by pioneers. Not even pioneers. These aren't even pioneers anymore. These are just radical individuals that want to control Noosa. And that's
You're
all I
not
have to say.
First of all, it's a shame that you can't even condemn his comments. But in any event, as I stated, and you're welcome to provide an example, but there are no examples that I can find throughout history of Supreme Court justices being political. So you can say what you want, but the facts just don't agree with you. First of all, these seats have been vacant. So Mama Gobies or whoever you think in your conspiracy theories that could go up.
It's not a conspiracy theory. You can look at media. Look at Image chat room.
Let me just finish. Anybody who you name, they could have a seat today on the Supreme Court. Like that's factually correct. There's nothing stopping them.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
They could get a seat today, right? So to say that, unless you have proof that those people are waiting for something,
I sent it in Image chat room.
I don't know where you're getting this from.
Nasanova, you're a hypocrite. You stand for
not.
absolutely nothing. All you are is opposition. You yourself.
I'm not opposition. I'm
Dude, can
safeguarding
I
America.
speak? I'm still speaking.
If you want something done,
Tony,
no.
for
This is the last thing-
inactivity and negligence.
This is the last thing I'm
You
gonna say. This is the last
sued
thing I'm gonna say.
Tony.
Oh
You
my God.
sued him for negligence, yet you're going to sit here and say that he shouldn't be impeached. Why'd you sue him?
Okay,
Why
can you
did
listen?
sue him when we were not supporting
I do
that?
not care
And
what
now
you're saying
that
right
we
now.
are supporting it,
Okay.
you can't stand for it anymore.
Can
All
I
you
speak
do,
now?
no, because I'm still speaking. Thank you for asking. Anyways,
Okay, you're welcome.
all you
Sure.
are is anti-administration. If you thought that this was some weird Cabot Gobi scheme, why would I not have appointed them by now? 1. 2,
But
you
will you?
sued Tony for negligence.
Will you?
3, will I what?
Will you appoint Cabot and Gobies?
Cabot
Hello,
is my vice.
I have a question for Mr. Nozo.
Yeah.
A first name tech. What if Mr. Giordano says no to your demands?
We will impeach.
Thank you.
Tony.
Okay.
There will not be an impeachment unless there's bipartisanship for the appointments that are going to be made for the Supreme Court.
With your
I've
like
said it in the past.
3-person minority.
Impeachment is
Actually,
not.
you need 2-3. You need a 2-3 majority, and right now you do not have a 2-3 majority. After this Class 1 election, you will not have a 2-3 majority. In fact, you won't even have a majority after this Class 1 election. So yeah,
no.
you need to work with us if you want shit done. If not,
You
then
told me that? Remember when you were running for
goodbye.
PPT and you said that to me? I didn't respond. And then you lost PPT.
Yeah, after
And then you
Cabot
tried to say it
invalidated
again.
3 of my seats.
You tried to say it again. You
Cabot
said
invalidated
you
3 of my
told
seats
me
unconstitutional,
that my
and
nominations
let it
would
happen. Now we're not going to
never
let it happen.
pass.
We're not going to play as low as you guys. That's the
You
thing. We'll
said-
never play as low as you guys.
You said
If you
my
want shit done,
nominations would
you
never
can have
pass.
bipartisanship.
You said I would never get a bill through the Senate.
And the thing about
but
that,
I passed them all unanimously.
he hosted a session within an hour's time, got quorum with none of my people present, and then passed it all those nominations. Which now you can't even do
No,
that anymore.
it was 24 hours in advance.
It was not 24 hours in advance. Actually, it was maybe
And there's been multiple sessions. Would you even know?
12 hours in advance. Well,
Because I don't think you've attended any of them. You're an appointed senator. You were not elected by the people.
Are in the most inconvenient times, and I've made this point to
4 p.m. is inconvenient?
multiple times.
4
And they're
p.m.?
not even just inconvenient for me; they're inconvenient for several members of your caucus. So for you to say that, oh, I've not been attending sessions,
Quorum
that's
was
just not
reached.
true. They're just not inconvenient. They're inconvenient times.
4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is
Yes.
now inconvenient.
Some people work.
Who
Some
knew?
people work 9 to 5s. I'm not Eastern
Okay.
Central Time. I'm Central Standard Time. Thank you.
Hey, hold on. I just want to recognize David Goggins, who said he was a former clerk, and also Grandpa Gobies, who has legal experience, to come up on the stage. Is there any way somebody can bring him up? Can somebody bring up David Goggins?
You know, I'm not.
I think you should focus on winning mayor
There's
in
zero
your own caucus before you come at me.
I just want to hear Grandpa Gobies. Hold on.
He's spreading conspiracy theories that I wanted to sit on the Supreme Court. If I wanted to be on the Supreme Court, I would have myself appointed right now. I
So
don't
that's
want to
why
be
I
on the
asked
Supreme
T-Suits.
Court.
That's why I'm asking T-Suits. T-Suits, will you appoint
No, I'm not
your
being
Mama
appointed to the
Doties
Supreme
and
Court. I
Alex
can
Shea Cabot
confirm
to the
that right
Supreme
now.
Court?
I
No?
confirm that right now.
Hey,
I'm
I have,
not
I have a
being
question.
appointed.
Will you appoint me? I used to be a clerk for many justices and judges. Will you appoint me, T Soups? I used to be Senate Whip, so will you appoint
Jesus,
me?
will you appoint a common citizen to the Supreme Court, the highest court of the land? Will you do that?
The Supreme Court's going to be
I'm
shrunk
a
to 5 seats again.
bipartisan bitch, you know? Like, will you appoint me?
Will you, T Soups? The common man. Will the
Come on.
common man finally win in Newsom?
And plus, by the way, just want
He
to
already
point out to the
won.
viewers. Excuse me?
So I
Will
looks
you
like you're
It says
getting
the
appointed.
common man already won.
No,
Oh,
T
so
Soups.
you won't appoint him?
Nessa,
What?
let me talk. T Soups. I just came back from like a 2-month vacation, and I'm ready to serve again as a justice. So, or a judge even. Just put me up. Okay, I used to be clerk for justices and judges, and I used to be Senate Whip and Secretary of the Senate. So, will you put me up?
You have
Yes
to
or
ask
no?
Tony. You have to ask Tony, who's given us demands about the appointment of judges and justices.
No, Gobies,
I think it's
Tony
fair
told me. Tony told me that every judge I appoint has to go through him. That I have to
You
get
can ask
his
Tony.
approval.
That's very fair. And honestly, it should go through
What?
him and me.
What?
How's that very fair? It's the
Because he's the highest
president's
judge on the land. He should make
president's
calls
position to
on
appoint
who
him.
is
Dumbass.
capable of holding these
I
judges.
appoint and the Senate confirms.
I don't know
Why is
I don't know
Tony
why National
forcing
wants
himself?
to choose justices when he doesn't even
Niggers,
attend sessions to
shut the
vote on
fuck
them.
up. I'm talking. Plus, viewership has gone down when the woman speaks, by the way. So just letting
I
you know,
don't
guys.
think so.
When the woman
Ah,
speaks,
woman joke. I
viewership
never
goes
heard that
down.
one. Pretty sure when I speak, people listen.
Easy for
Bye.
you to say. You're named after a woman, Grandpa Gobies, who will
What?
never sit on the Supreme Court as long as I'm here. Same for you, Alex. I know you're
You
feeling right
don't
now.
go to sessions
Sorry,
Yo,
to
if
it's
vote.
not going to happen.
go to the
You
Supreme
don't
Court,
go to
you
sessions
get
to
it.
vote.
It's not going to happen. Sorry, guys. Maybe 5 terms from now. Maybe you
I
should
don't
hide your
want a
narrative
Supreme Court seat.
before you threaten Akon artists for impeachment if he didn't get you guys on the Supreme Court. Sorry, guys.
What are you on about? You sound like a schizo right now, bro.
Can somebody
Ooh,
share Tony's?
y'all weren't supposed to know that.
Can somebody?
You sound like a
Ooh,
schizo. All you have is conspiracy theories based on
Somebody
nothing.
share Tony's statement.
you guys weren't supposed to know that. I'm sorry.
Can somebody share Tony's statement?
He has a statement.
Yeah, he released a statement.
Abbott told Akon artists, he said if Tony doesn't kick everyone out, he's impeaching us.
Yes, I have the statement. I shall read it to you.
I can read the statement if you would like. Sorry, that's my roommate. I can read the statement if y'all like.
I have a AI generated summary of it. Which one would you
Okay,
prefer?
if you want to read it.
I do sincerely apologize for the neglect of duties towards the Supreme Court of the United States that occurred during my presidency of another group. When I ran for president of another group, it was not at all my intention to drop the ball as Chief Justice of NUSA, to which the Supreme Court is operating better than ever now. The deal I made with the then President H.H. Prince George regarding NUSA wanting to join the UNC was not done in my capacity as Chief Justice. It was made president to president. The court is taking full control over its docket, and we've taken the measures necessary to ensure maximum efficiency on the court. Your second request is regarding authorizing an independent inspector general. I have no authority on my own accord to do that, and if I did, your letter does not make clear to what the inspector general would be inspecting. If it's to investigate the claims raised in the letter, then the inspector general would not do that. Ethical claims made against judicial officers are for Congress to inspect, or if you file a judicial complaint with our court. Then the court can review the matter to determine whether unethical behavior occurred. Your third and final request asks me to create a code of conduct. Twofold points on that topic. First, I cannot do that unilaterally. It requires the work of the whole court. Second, it would not be something that could be completed within the 12-hour time frame you supplied. Rather, I can make a promise by this time next week, as August 21st, 2024, the court have devised a enforceable code of ethics. The real life Supreme Court did a similar thing, though that code of ethics is not as enforceable. They are more like guidelines. Ours would not be guidelines. They would be enforceable. However, it cannot be done in 12 hours. A rushed document like this would be for the sake of throwing something together to ease your concerns. But for the sake of quality, it would require some time for the court to properly deliberate on the adoption and enforcement of a code of conduct. I hope we can have an open and mature dialogue regarding these topics further. Sincerely, the Chief Justice. Well, Technozo, do you have any reply to that?
I have a one sentence reply before I close this press conference. Stay tuned. Good night, everybody.
Wait,
Whoa.
what? No, bring him back in here.
Yeah, bring him back up.
T-Suits, I actually have a question for you. Do you
This
feel
is
that the
now a
American
Doom
public...
Live with Great Jakers 1113. If he's not coming back on, what we've just been hearing was the Speaker of the House announcing some evidence uncovered against the Chief Justice for allegedly deserting the group in favor of his own interests elsewhere. The Chief Justice has said that those were done during the Godson administration and that some of his demands, including a code of ethics, would take time. I'm John of Doom, joined tonight by Great Jakers 113. We will be taking your calls, your comments, so please raise your hand if you want to be brought up. We are also joined by President T. Soups, newly elected plutocratic chair, NASA Nova, Grandpa Gotti's, and Met's Dog. Good evening to you all. Jake, can you bring the stream back to the studio? Yes, indeed. So, does anyone have a comment on what we've just heard from the Vice President? Not the Vice President, but the Chief Justice. The Speaker has just said, "Stay tuned." So that could mean that impeachment is underway.
These are the
Could be
same
happening.
empty promises that Tony gave us when we were impeaching these justices. The only way that they've improved their activity is by dismissing 4 cases that they didn't do. Like they've taken activity to mean just dismissal of cases.
You believe so?
I mean, it's true. That's all they've done since these justices were impeached. They've released 4 opinions, and they were all dismissals.
Good statement just in from Speaker Technozo. I've received the Chief Justice's letter. Stay tuned for more information. So he is probably
He needs a
processing
moment
what
to
is
think about it. Yeah, he just needs to process it. It's a big deal for these pioneers to hear no.
Go ahead, Jake.
From what I'm hearing, I've heard about this UN deal in the past. I remember it being mentioned in the Secretary of State's server. Because I would say, as someone who's been very concerned about news of state in the international community for, let's just say, albeit different reasons than most, being in an inactive United Nations is not going to benefit our group. We were in
It's
UNC.
not very beneficial, you mean?
Yeah, beneficial, whatever. VXWJ said he resigned. He's a former UN ambassador. So,
yeah. Let's bring up people if you'd like.
I want to say something about this.
Jake?
As someone,
yeah, go ahead.
VXWJ, former UN ambassador, says that he never knew there was agreement, and he said it, quote, pisses him the F off. What I was going to say is this. We've been in tiny UN after tiny UN. The previous UN is now completely kaput. This UN is on the verge of becoming kaput. So, what do? Do we try to get into UNC now? But
UNC is the
we're banned from almost every big UN. We'll never be unbanned.
The UNC is the United Nations that
banned from EUN.
And probably
UNC is the United Nations that Tony stopped us from getting into.
Then why are we not
problems
because we were on the verge.
That Tony stopped us from getting into. That is the UNC. That is the United Nations that we
as someone who's normally going to be unbiased,
I don't think that's true at all. I do not think that's true at all. I think George tried applying UNC when he was president, and we got denied.
Yeah, because he worked with Tony to make sure that we didn't get in. There was a deal between George and Tony to ensure that USAR got in UNC and that we didn't. How?
No, that's not true. Where's the proof? That's speculative as hell.
We need to bring back the one USA rule. It's that simple. It's that simple.
He said it in his letter. He said he made a George.
He said he made a deal president to president. End quote. But
I
he's
didn't
not
even
just
realize
the
that.
president. He's the chief justice of NUSA, and he has to look out for our best interests. He can't put in a small little teeny tiny shit ass U.S. group above his interests in NUSA as chief justice.
Let me read it.
How many
Go ahead.
people does USAR have anyway? I don't even.
Not that many.
Honestly, I don't
they're
blame
not-
Tony. You don't got to deal with stupid ass shit like this.
Why don't we open up the floor, get more people insight on this? Let's go to Gavzela0909. Apologize if I butchered your name. You're live.
That is okay. Can y'all hear me?
United, no.
I will be right back.
This
Continue,
is a Doom Live. Thank you. What the
yeah,
hell?
take over for me for a second. I have to.
Yeah. We're gonna get. Okay, as United enjoys his brain rot, let's get Roblox rules 756 up here. Roblox rules, you have the floor. Hello?
United, I just want to say your gameplay is awesome.
All right.
This document has nothing to say that George is blocking this deal intentionally.
Can you
Let's
read?
get Ape Gun up here. Ape Gun.
I literally just read it. It said nothing like that.
Okay,
Quote, the deal that I made with then President H.H. Prince George regarding NUSA wanting to join UNC was not done in my capacity as Chief Justice. It was made president to president. The court has taken full control, blah, blah, blah.
He admitted to it, basically.
He does admit to it.
Yes, in his letter. But he
if
says
he's going
that
to
he
be
was
Chief
working.
Justice, if he's going to be Chief Justice, he has to put NUSA first. It's one of the highest positions. It's a lifetime position. He can serve in that position for years. Caught Warrior served for years, and you got to put the group first if you're going to be in the position that you're going to be in for years.
Do you guys put NUSA first when you have a house that is 100% Pioneer?
What?
Do you guys put NUSA first when you have a House of Representatives that is 100% Pioneer with no form of opposition?
Your losing of elections is not our problem.
Oh, okay.
You can win an
We didn't
election,
run
and we'll talk
anyone
about it then.
Okay. One party sitting here.
You can win an election, and then we'll talk.
Well, let's just see if you guys win this one.
Okay, win an election first, buddy.
presidential
Shut up.
election.
Just win an election.
Okay. You keep in mind, you guys did win the
Win an
presidential
election.
by
Just
10 votes.
win an election.
10 votes. We haven't
Win
ran
an
anyone in
election.
2 months.
Win an
It
election.
was 9 votes.
No, 9 votes.
Yeah, you lost by 9 votes. Get
Grandpa
over it.
Gobies, what happened to infiltrating my party and taking over?
You know, it was a fun troll.
It was a troll because if you did happen to do it, it wouldn't be a troll, right?
No, I would have given it up, and it was fun though when it lasted.
Yeah, you
Anyway, you could
definitely gave it
when
up.
you win an election, you can just talk about Congress, in which you have like 3 seats.
Where 3 seats? Where?
You have like 3 senators.
I don't think so. I think maybe we have like 6 or 7. You know, you'll need those if you want an impeachment. And Armin Foley. Don't forget Armin Foley. Don't forget Armin Foley.
Two of them haven't talked to NUSA in months. Your senators don't even exist in the group.
No senators. Don't forget Armin Foley, though. That's mean.
He's not a plutocrat.
Forward.
He's a forward.
Yeah, but he is basically a plutocrat. You know.
No, he's a forward.
Okay. Whatever. Tomato.
By basically
He's not
plutocrat,
gonna
do you
vote
mean
yet.
a George puppet? Is that what you're talking about here?
You know what I don't understand about this group?
I don't know
is
if
that
we've discussed this, but I have some breaking news I need to.
Stand by. Everyone shut up.
Shut up. Everyone shut up. I have breaking news I needed to tell. I'm not sure if this was given, but we have this statement. Due to the allegations against Chief Justice Tony Giordano, the Department of Justice will be launching an official investigation into the Chief Justice and his actions. More information will be released shortly. This from Skunks, or whatever you pronounce that.
Good for Skunks.
Guns, yeah.
Skunks.
The Attorney General has opened an investigation into the Chief Justice for the allegations.
Here we go.
made
Cabot working again. Cabot,
in regards
you can't do that.
to.
You've already used it on George. You can only use it one time. Cabot, you can only use
Cabot
it one
is
time.
VP, by the way.
You already used it on George. You can't use it on Tony. Maybe next term you can do that. But you've already used it one time. You've already played this out one time.
Madam President, I will have to ask you this question since there's a lot of the national raises a decent point. Do you believe, and would you allow your vice president to be appointed to the Supreme Court? And is that something you are considering now or in the future?
No,
Ooh.
Cabot and I have not spoken about that. He is my vice president, just as Gobies is my White House chief of staff.
Do you believe
I don't-
that anyone has been considered by the vetting committee or whatever that is? Have their names been vetted at all by that committee?
Are you asking if Gobies and Cabot's names appeared in the?
Yes.
No.
Do you believe Gobies? I think is Gobies in here?
I've already said I'm not being appointed to the. I'm the White House. Why would I resign from the White House to go to the Supreme Court in the middle of a term?
You have no ambitions to be on the Supreme
No,
Court
I
in
don't
least
want.
this
I've
term?
denied appointments to the Supreme Court before. I don't want to be in the Supreme Court. It's a retirement home.
Let me interrupt you for just 1 second. Just for everyone knows, if someone says no to Cabot and he can't legally get them out, he'll just send squons to charge him under DC, and then he'll get them out that way. So just for everyone to know.
I'm really wondering if you're keeping up with Noosa because Skunks is not DC Attorney General. Armin Foley is not a senator. You do not have 6 to 7 people in the Senate. What is like? Where have you been?
Not here apparently. Not in the
I've
Senate
actually been
session.
on vacation ever since the
He's
presidential
been busy not putting
election.
forward
Thank
candidates
you.
for the Democrats. Basically, just doing
I
nothing.
literally put in 7 seats. I put in all seats for this upcoming election. I put in seats for municipal elections. So I don't know what you're saying.
But you couldn't even get elected yourself. Neither could Armin.
What? My re-election hasn't came up yet.
Re-election? You were never elected. You were appointed.
Well, the re-election for my class hasn't came up yet. God. Tomato, T-soups. Dictator.
What?
That made no sense. Anyway,
Truly.
I don't get why Nassen gets off like pretending he's in any elected office when he's an appointed senator with about 4 senators. I think every single Democrat in the Senate was not elected.
Okay, well you can wait a month or whatever time span it is for.
You don't even know when the election is.
I really don't.
You don't even know when the election is. Like,
No,
what are you
not for
trying to
class
do
2.
here?
Well, I don't really care about this. Like my upcoming election, I'm gonna win
You
anyways.
don't care about the election.
I'm gonna
Do you even
win
care about
anyways.
Noosa?
Like you,
Yes, I
you
do.
don't care
Actually,
about the election. You
I don't
don't know
try
when
to
it is.
undermine people, and I don't try
Do
to
you?
kick people out.
Because
I don't
you
try to
told
convict
me,
past former presidents.
that in your capacity as a senator, what you would do is completely work against me and ensure that none of my nominations passed and that none of my bills passed. You wouldn't even read them. You would just name
Why did
them
I say that?
every
Why did I
single
say that?
time
Why did I say that? Why did I
because
say
you
that?
want to work
Because you
against the
and Cabot
government. All you
invalidated my
are
senators.
is an
You and Cabot
opposition.
invalidated my senators and
Okay,
undermined the Constitution.
okay.
You undermined the Constitution when you and Cabot invalidated my
Yeah.
senators. Thank
If
you.
we said the sky was blue, you'd say it's green. You
That's not
are an
true.
obstructionist stain on our Senate floor. Get out.
Well, he's not on the Senate
Sorry, I
floor.
won't
Let's strike that. He doesn't show up to the
did
Senate
nothing
floor to be
illegal.
an
Truly.
Nassen does not show up to
I
the
think it's
Senate floor.
time we bring up other people.
I'm
As
sorry, I won't convict the Chief Justice who did nothing illegal.
He's a treasonist who made sure that we didn't get in the UN.
And so is
why
Matrix
don't we
OC,
bring
the US
up
Secretary of Homeland Security.
King ESB?
Can I
live.
have
Good
permission
evening.
to share my screen? I have a presentation I formulated.
It's just going to be an anti-T-suit movement. You didn't even know that the DOJ was
It's
in the
Zoom
executive
Live. We
branch.
air anything.
Will you shut up?
Dude, why are you...
Before this whole thing, you were sucking off George. You were sucking off George in ZUK or BUK. Like, you're just
What?
like...
I've
you
never
go
been in
off and you go suck
BUK.
everyone up. Not you, T-Soups. I'm talking about Oliver 6798.
What are
You
you
guys have
talking
200
about?
voters
right
ready
now?
to go.
What are you
for the
talking
week.
about?
I'm talking to Oliver
Nothing you
6798.
say makes any.
Poor bro.
Oh
This
my
guy's,
god! Like I'm talking to Oliver 6798.
this guy's schizophrenic.
Yeah, he make.
you?
I think he needs some medicine. Are you on your meds?
Can you ask Cabot to prescribe me that? Because not only is he vice president, he's also a prosecutor, so maybe he could be a doctor.
No, he's not. He's
What?
he's the
not?
vice
Then
president.
why is
Bro.
he keeping on Georgia's case?
Nasanova, when's the
Oh.
last time you cared to check into on USA? You've gotten so much wrong. Like a lot
So
of
Cabot isn't a prosecutor and a vice president?
He's the vice president.
literally
Then
the
why
vice
is he prosecuting on George's case?
What?
What?
Go look at the case.
The
Go look at the case.
prosecutors argue.
Yo, who is Rumi Banana Blue? Why is he up here?
The prosecutor is
I
arguing.
don't know actually why.
DC Attorney General Argy.
Oh.
Yeah, the
Are you
DC Attorney
good?
General, not Skunks, by the way. You said Skunks was going to charge somebody
Yeah,
under DC.
I don't know where you've been. Like,
Yeah,
you've not
bro.
been at Senate sessions. You've not been to
He
district
rage
court.
quit with George.
Feds can't charge with DC crimes, bro.
No. The actual reason why I don't know anything is because I've been fucking Discord banned off of the news for the past like month and a half.
Probably
like,
just go back to
legitimately.
that.
Probably for a good reason.
And Adam Stratton, of course, has to weigh in and prolong my ban. So
What are you talking about?
I think it made perfect sense there. I think you're just trying to depict this image that I'm
You should
crazy.
go back to the ban.
No, I actually have to take a few seconds longer to try to even understand what you're saying. Like every time you speak, it's getting to be a lot.
Thank you.
I think
Maybe
the
speak
group
more
is
often,
getting to you, and you
not
might need to take a
partisanship.
break because I think the stress. Maybe you're stressed out about like
You know what?
Lego
And I think
election.
you're right. Maybe I should go to USAR.
Well, apparently you're on their side anyway, so you probably should just leave.
Jesus.
Go where you pledge your support because it's not here.
I do.
Or why don't you follow wherever George goes next?
Yeah, go to like Canada, wherever he's at now.
True.
So where do you plan to go to after Cabot snakes you after the presidency?
What makes you think Cabot's going to take anyone? We have a very functional White House. We pass a lot of bills. We have very
Right.
active agencies. I don't know what your problem is.
Bro, Cabot literally posted when this whole shit was happening. Like that. He's literally go look. Let me go look at it. Hold on.
John, please. You're gonna make me crash out.
I'm going to be president. He posted a little gift saying he's going to be president.
Yeah, you don't know what a joke is?
You ever heard of a joke?
Oh, it's a joke.
It was like
He's
bait.
plotting, T-Soups. Be careful. He's plotting.
Bro,
He's
Cabot's
gonna send
trolled me
DCAG to get you.
before and I crashed out. Like,
He's going to send DCAG to get you, T-Soups. If you don't
The
comply, you know what
DCAG
happens.
DCAG is not working with Cabot either, bro. Like, let's be for real.
Yeah,
Arigi
Argy
is
is
not
very
working with
independent.
any Fed. Yeah,
But did he work with him to get
bro,
George?
Arigi barely wants
wasn't
to even listen to
DCAG
me.
then.
I'm
That
literally
was
his boss, and he wants
That was
barely wants to
before
listen
this
to me.
administration. George was charged before this. George was charged before the election even happened.
But what party was that DCAG?
No party. They were the
Oh.
AG.
He wasn't
None?
in the
Oh,
capacity
you
of
sure he wasn't
in
Pioneer?
the
That
capacity
same
of
DCAG that charged George is now Attorney General. The same DCAG that charged George is now Attorney General.
A
So what? Let me ask you
DCAG
again.
moves up into
He
a
moved
federal
up.
Let me ask
AG.
you
Like,
again.
as he
What
should. Like
party-
people in
what
MPD
party-
move up.
What
Like
party was that DCAG?
he
None.
wasn't in a party as DCAG.
What? Who did he
was
vote?
working
What
as
party did he vote?
DCAG.
What party did he vote?
look at him in
Just
chat.
Because
He
he
just
votes
said,
for
"I
a party
don't
doesn't mean
partake."
anything.
Pioneer,
Just because he voted for a party
Pioneer,
doesn't mean he's part of it.
I have no idea who he voted.
Deep state lawfare.
You know, this is a classic George
I think
tactic. Classic George loyalist blaming people for who they think they voted for and trying to get them fired for
Right.
voting for T-Soup
Okay,
rather than George.
I don't
That's
give a
all
shit
George
about
does.
what any of you guys
Fire
are saying.
people for voting.
Tony's
That's
not
all
getting
you're trying to do
convicted.
now.
I'm sorry, Cry, and get DCAG to charge him. Good night, America.
Bro, DCAG is not charging anybody, so the 40 people in here
I
can
feel like
hear
we've
that
had
right
enough
now.
of this argument. Let's move on to a different topic. Let's
Okay.
Who else do we want?
Well, I was brought up to speak my mind on the
Yeah, go ahead. Go
impeachment.
ahead.
Go ahead,
Can I
yeah,
say
go ahead.
something real quick? As somebody who's been in this group for a very long time, I have seen a very inactive Supreme Court, and Tony is like spearheading one of the most inactive Supreme Courts I've ever seen. So I don't know why he's saying that they're better than ever. I support the impeachment, and I stand with the T-Soups
If an
administration.
impeachment were to actually happen,
It
nothing's
should.
been confirmed yet.
It should.
How long has he been a chief justice for?
Long enough
For
him
about
to be
like half
inactive.
a year.
2 years.
About half
Why
a
is
year.
Freaky Bob calling United?
He
Oh,
was
2
appointed
years.
by Rock, bro. Like
2
that was
years.
a hot minute ago.
Tactical Rock, but he did threaten Tactical Rock to get his justices. You know, Stixa resigned. Stixa admitted to being inactive, and Tony tried to come around and retract Stixa's resignation, so you'd have another loyalist on the court still.
I think his apologies BS too. As we saw in his messages in the USAR chats, he's not sorry, and it's going to continue. Like
You should see how he talks in group chats, throwing around slurs, being very rude. Tony's
I mean-
public-facing self is completely different.
Well, yeah, I mean, it has to be. But
When they brought out that new bar, did anyone pass the exam yet?
I haven't even taken mine, to be honest with you. I legally had to take it, but at this point, I don't even feel like doing it. Nobody quote me on that. Anyway, anything else that y'all want to say before I move on to other people?
Could we get
I
a
got nothing.
VXWJ up here? I know he's not raising his
Yeah.
hand, but I'd like to see him up here. So, would you like to come up here? VXWJ, we were talking about the UN stuff earlier.
Yeah.
You messaged me about that, and you had something you'd like to say about that?
I'm just saying, crazy that there's lies within the department. There's a lot more that I do not know about, but I know there are some, as I've been told. I found out a bunch actually, being employed under them, and they're not doing a very good job right now.
I want you to
Wait,
talk.
what are you talking about?
What's with the inactivity in Congress?
What inactivity?
When was the last session ever since Technozo became speaker?
It
There
was
was
like
one
2
like
days ago.
2 days ago.
Anyways, go over what you told me in DMs. Feel like the public would like to hear this.
Hold on, let me go back. Hold on. I never knew that there was an agreement actually, as UN ambassador during George's term. I actually knew that. I never knew that there was one, and that makes me angry. So, yeah, just that I was never told of a agreement, especially as a cabinet member working exclusively for the United Nations. And
What
yeah,
is that beeping?
I have no idea.
Oh my god, who's doing that?
It's in United screen share. Freak Bomb keeps sending me notifications.
We're watching. I have those streams muted, but it's funny. Just watching. All right, man. Have it that way. Yeah, it's very funny. Why don't we go to the remaining people who have raised their hands? Let's start with Mr. Chu.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna say, you know what? Don't try to act like impeachment isn't just gonna be easy to do. You guys control both chambers. Don't act like it's some grand step if Tony doesn't obey your guys' laws. Like, come on.
What?
Don't act like impeachment is this thing that is gonna be so difficult and so tenuous to do. You guys have basically complete control of both chambers of Congress.
Oh my lord.
Like,
Yes.
I don't really get why like Technozo is acting like impeachment is just like a last resort thing when you guys have
Like we
expressed
like
interest
to
in doing it before.
diplomatically work things out before going for impeachment, because you can also be barred after being impeached.
And I mean also like I mean the time frame that you guys gave him was not like you guys gave him like 12 hours to do all this.
No, we've been talking about this for a long time. And the Supreme Court ruled that they can review their own impeachments. That's where it gets messy.
Also, it's like, what did he actually do that was illegal? Are you guys going with the UNC thing? Like,
He's a
I don't really.
treasonist.
That's
What?
treason.
What?
I
Our
don't
Chief
know.
Justice, the 9th Chief Justice, after 12 years of a group, is a treasonist helping another USA. Like, what?
Oh, suck. No.
Mm.
Go ahead,
If the
continue.
Senate is pioneer majority, why can't we just impeach him now? Like, isn't there better people that can fit that position?
Again, the Supreme Court can review their own impeachments.
And it's also like, you know, okay.
But do you think it's
you guys
likely
do
that they do it?
I don't know why you guys are
I
like.
mean, Tony is supposedly some political powerhouse. He's not apolitical at all. So I wouldn't put it past him.
And it's also like, okay, you guys are like, okay, let's say you guys do impeach Tony. I don't know why you guys are acting like this is going to be nonpartisan afterwards. You guys have expressed interest in removing Tony before. That went off the rails. And you guys are going back to
Oh.
it now.
What?
And it's like,
What's the worst that could happen if he doesn't get impeached?
it's
Wait,
like,
what are you arguing?
it's like, okay, you guys do remove Tony. I don't really see why the next appointment would be nonpartisan like you guys are making it out to be. What incentive would it be? Like, you guys have expressed interest in removing Supreme Court justices before. You guys had all them resign under threat of impeachment. Okay. I mean, come on. This has happened before. You guys are removing Supreme Court justices under threat of impeachment. And
what's wrong
that's
with doing
bad
it now?
because you guys are stuffing them with loyalists. That's bad, isn't
Well,
it?
I haven't appointed anyone. I don't know what you're talking about.
And when you guys do, they're obviously going to be all nonpartisan, right?
It's a
They're going to be
justice's job to
bipartisan,
remain
nonpartisan.
apolitical.
Okay, so everyone you guys
That's
appoint is going to stay completely apolitical, right?
Yes.
They're going to be nonpartisan, bipartisan. All the parties are going to vote to approve them. Like, come on.
Yes.
Like, do you
That's
have no vested
every
interest? Do
president
you have
has
no?
done.
Do you have no
And-
vested interest in appointing allies to the Supreme Court at all? That's what I'm asking.
I'm on the hunt for intelligent and competent people to fill our
Okay,
highest court.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, you know what? That's the most like triangulating answer I have ever heard before.
What do you want me to say? I'm not choosing political people to fill the Supreme Court. You're coming at me and I haven't even made any appointments yet. In fact, I released an executive order to establish a judicial selection committee. So it's not just me picking these people. It's
and who is
it's
being appointed to the judicial selection?
I'm still speaking.
Okay, you know, I'll let you talk. I'll let you go.
Oh, thanks. It's a
You got it.
committee of legal masterminds and people with judicial experience who can advise me and give me two options to then choose from to appoint a judge or justice.
And
Like, I
who are
have
these-
set up a failsafe to remove power from myself just so you don't sit up here and make this argument, okay? I'm not
so,
here.
no. So tell me,
No,
who is this?
no, shut up.
I'm,
Shut.
Okay.
How many times I have to remind you? Thank you. Oh my gosh.
It's just like, you know, who is
Okay.
appointing this judicial expert committee? Like, come on now.
Did you
Going
read,
through
Did you read the
going
executive
through
order? Probably not.
going through like a smoke screen. That doesn't make it any less obvious. You guys have threatened to impeach Supreme Court justices before. Like, come on. now.
We
That-
asked
that's
them
all
to
I have
resign
that's
and
all I have to say.
they did. Turntable
Under
said
the-
I cannot put time into this group anymore. You're right. And he resigned.
Attend Senate sessions? Am I sorry? What did I do wrong?
You're inactive.
I'm not inactive. I'm not even in the fucking Senate right now.
Oh, you lost, right?
You know what? I did lose, but this time we're gonna fucking win against you. We're gonna win every Senate seat in that ballot because the multi-ballot loves polarizing results.
United
right?
says stop yapping.
United has a mic.
Oh,
I'm
that's
saying.
Freaky Bob, not y'all. Yeah, I'm just watching. Well, y'all were yapping. I was just watching Freaky Bob try to kill United.
I gotta play
It's a
this
fun.
game.
It's
What
a
game
fun
is it?
watch, to be honest. Metzog, go. Matt Dog,
Mets.
are you in? He said he was fixing his mic, so while we wait, let's bring up Kanyata, who wants to speak.
Mr. John Doom, what a pleasure. What a pleasure. I have a quick question for the president. How do you respond to the allegations that there's a currently a deep state group chat that contains high-profile members of government. I believe this is messages dating back to 2020. Contains very corrupt events. Would you like to respond to that?
I do not know what you're referring to.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting.
Truly. Thank you for your question, kind Yada.
No, I'm not. I'm not done.
I was just thinking
Is
the first
Mr.
question.
Oh, the fucking yapper's still in here. Hey, buddy, you said you how'd you lose a Senate election for Roblox? Out of curiosity.
What, me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I lost.
Mhm.
I was just
Yikes.
coming back from a break here, and I ran.
I lost Senate 3 times, United said.
I never lost an election.
1-4.
That's
No.
actually, I mean, you did lose to Dev Grab when he did blacklist you when you were toxic. So
That wasn't an election. That was an overstep from past GMs, and
you were running for vice president.
we
United
won.
says Jesus is corrupt.
Bruh.
That's true. I have files downloaded. I can get that on. Hey, if you need, we can exchange some deal if you need any files on any of the White House. I have a lot of corruption stuff on them. So if you need anything, let me know.
Can we see those, please? Can we
I'll need an exchange for some. I'll need something in return.
This sucks.
Hi, is my mic working now?
Yes,
Should be.
we can hear you.
Okay, Chu, I want to ask, why are you assuming that this is political? The guy was literally treasonous and putting another USA over us. It's literally in our best interest to investigate and potentially impeach him.
Okay, let's investigate. But I'm just saying, this Congress has absolutely no resistance to what T Soup says. Like, come on now.
But
if she
but
wants
still,
to impeach all the
like,
justices,
the best
she could.
thing, the best thing is to make sure that we're getting it right and that we're not just rushing to impeach if there's nothing there. And clearly, as we've seen by the evidence, there are things there. And it's complicated also because, as she said, they can review their own impeachment. So we need to determine the best road forward from here. It's not as simple as, we just wave a wand and he's out.
And you know what? I disprove what he said. You know, obviously, but it's like come on now. T Soups has threatened removal
I
of
have a
Supreme
question.
Court
I have a
justices
question.
before.
So you said appointing bipartisan people to the Supreme Court, right? That aren't allies. You realize how in real life presidents appoint people with their views, correct? That it's been even in NUSA they do. It's people who are they're going to
That's a
trust.
facade. I don't know why we
not going
keep
to.
going under, I don't know why we keep going under this smokescreen of, yeah, guys, our removal of the Supreme Court justice is totally nonpartisan. It is not influenced by politics
It
at all.
isn't partisan. He was literally colluding with another group. So you're saying if you were in charge and you saw that this happened, you wouldn't do anything about it?
I would investigate and I'd see how things go before jumping
Which
the gun.
we did.
It's been
Okay, we've had our impeachment trial by now,
And he
right?
admitted to the allegations. He literally admitted to the allegations.
I'm crashing out.
So, but
He
again,
admitted
this
to
is
the
an
allegations. So I
exacting
don't know what you're getting at
investigation, isn't
here.
it? The Department
Dude,
of
you're
Justice.
defeating your own points here.
I don't get like if you're gonna troll, at least be funny.
Hey.
Yeah, like really. And
Can we
also,
get
the
this
only
Aiden deal?
time really
Can we get
that
this?
in modern history
Sorry,
that
I
a
need to
president
be. I can't say
has
anything. Yeah, I gotta.
like one of the
Mods in
only
the chat.
times in modern
I
history.
won't get banned again. Can we get this dude off the stage, please?
Bless you.
I just want to also comment the thing about partisanship and judges. Yes, most presidents will choose people who align with their views because that is like they're picking a lifetime appointment for someone who can help keep their views alive. Their presidency is only 4 years. The only time really in modern history that someone's compromised on that is Obama with Merrick Garland because Mitch McConnell was trying to blockade him. So
Yeah,
one
your
second.
point's
we're
moot
like
there.
we're trying
Okay,
to
actually,
pretend.
instead of arguing, I have a question for the president. Hey, why didn't you appoint Batman Yusuf to the Oh, they left. Okay.
Oh, T-Soups left?
Oh,
Okay.
they got muted. They got muted.
Womp,
They got
womp.
muted. Can you
Let's bring up
unmute her?
JT port.
No, I have a question though. I have a question, like a serious question.
You're good. You're good. I'll ask you.
Also, can you drag Technozo back up? I don't know if he wants to talk, but it would be good to have him to
Anyway,
respond.
let's
Can you
just make
drag
this
up
clear. Batman
Fun
Yusuf
for
was
John?
snubbed out of the Senate spot. Everyone requested Batman Yusuf to be appointed. He was clearly snubbed out of the Senate spot. Technozo, you're going to be removed from Speaker. Batman Yusuf 2 is going to become the Speaker of the House. We're impeaching T. And Cabot is going
Creating
to
the first Funlastic Empire.
Batman Yusuf 2 will be the next president of the United States. Thank you.
I'd rather Yiddish, but okay.
Hello.
John of
I
Doom
was
for
told
president.
spamming was
Batman Yusuf
allowed.
is going to be Speaker of the House. You must all support him, otherwise you'll be wiped out.
I think we should get rid of restrictions on people having civil office. We should let the Chief Justice be the president and the Speaker of the House at the same time.
He's already trying to.
I have a
Toby's
quick
going to
question.
be-
I have a quick question, if y'all would indulge me here. How many more people need to get fired, abused, shit-talked, run to the ground, removed, impeached, shit on, castrated, and made victims by the Chief Justice before we do something? How many more people need to suffer how I suffered under the Chief Justice before we actually do something? He's a tyrannical leader, and we are doing nothing to protect the citizens of this
Amen.
country from his influence. This is
Amen.
ridiculous. People are standing up for someone that routinely puts
Bro,
people
it's getting
down
me hyped now.
and put his own justices down minutes
Hey, I have a question
after
for the
their
president.
resignations were called for. It is
I have a
ridiculous
question.
that people are defending this man.
Okay, JT, that's enough. That's enough. I have a
When are we
actual
making
question.
John of Doom Supreme Court?
Shut the fuck up. I'm
You're
talking.
good bipartisan appointment.
Okay, T-Soups, I have a question. So let's say Tony does step down, get impeached or whatever. Do you intend to appoint a black,
Resign
gender
my presidency.
fluid, gay person to the Chief Justice position?
Probably not.
Why not?
I don't know of any.
Wow.
Unless you're
So-
of course talking about yourself.
What?
Rummy.
What about So you're gonna appoint a white person? You want to keep the court white? Wait. Okay. Mods. Never mind. I got to be careful with what I'm saying. I'm
Easy there, Tiger.
careful, Leash here. Been banned a few times on the stage. Got to be careful with what I say.
After all, United's
can't
playing
begin.
a rainbow-themed obby. Oh, dear Lord. Where's he going? He's ended up the same place he just ended
Mod,
up.
speaking of that, can we get off our lazy asses and check my ticket, please? Thank you very much.
Okay, we have Associate
You can always-
Justice Daryl Powell who's joining us now. Good evening to you, if you'd like to speak.
Yeah, I got a question for y'all. Question.
I have a question for you.
McDonald's or Wendy's for nuggets?
I can answer the question after you respond to the allegations against Tony.
Well, sorry, that's my roommate.
Hey.
That's my apologies, my roommate. I'm sure, as you're aware, as a justice, I'm not allowed to comment on political matters or be political in any way. So I'm going to choose not to comment.
Tony,
If
give
you
you
like
that
to,
statement.
if you like to subpoena me, I'd be more than happy to speak with y'all. But other than that, I'm not really going to comment.
Well,
on
other than not
matters.
getting too political, do you believe the Supreme Court is acting is functioning right now? Based on
as of right now, we got a new clerk. We're getting cases going along. I say we're pretty functional at the moment. Yeah.
Do you believe that more? I'm trying to formulate a question here because you don't want to speak too candidly on this. Do you believe that anyone should be removed at the moment for any reason?
That I'm not gonna make any comment on any political matters like that because removing somebody is inherently political. But I will say the Supreme Court has been getting on its game. We got a new clerk. We're getting cases moving along. We have two judicial complaints open, and sorry, that's my roommate. Sorry, I'm trying to think. We have an open case right now. We're getting that moving along.
How long do you think it'll take from case to judgment
for Supreme Court?
Yeah, like from the moment it's the hearing to the ruling.
I'd say, I mean, obviously this is dependent on all parties in the case, but I'd say if all parties in the case are cooperative and they get everything in on time and prompt, I would say like a month from filing a petition to getting a judgment.
That's the main concern out of everyone.
Well, you have to realize, I mean, maybe not a month. I mean, earliest, if you really want to rush a case through, like a week. But there are time constraints that are factored in by federal rules that make these cases longer. Like the federal rules of procedure have deadlines that we give to these like parties to file stuff. Like our only case right now, I believe one of the parties has filed for an extension for an additional 2 weeks, which we granted to them.
But it's your only case because it took you guys a year to dismiss cases that should have been dismissed a while ago, correct?
Most of those cases happened before I got appointed to the Supreme Court, so I can't really comment
I'm
on
not saying about you, I'm saying about the state of the Supreme Court. And also, isn't it correct that the current clerk of the Supreme Court is a ally of Tony from USAR who's a treason?
I mean, the clerk is friends with Tony. I mean, Tony brought him in, but
Who's a treasonist from USAR, correct?
I don't know where he came from. All I know is that he was appointed as clerk.
The Supreme Court is employing treasonists from USAR and bringing in allies. So is USAR trying to take over the Supreme Court?
I'm not gonna play into any characterizations except for our clerk has been doing a pretty good job. He's put together an entire calendar for the court, and so I have no complaints about him.
Interesting. And Mr. Port couldn't have done that?
Mr. who?
Mr. J.T. Port, the Honorable J.T. Port. Did you hear about his toxic work environments under Tony?
I'm just talking about the current clerk right now.
Oh, yeah.
Even when you were there, Daryl, like you joined later, I believe, at the end of like that summer, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
I mean, I know you can't comment on it, which is kind of why I'm here in this fired capacity, but you saw, there's no way you didn't see what I see. Everything's ran in group chats that are outside of the moderation scope. They're made so that they can be easily deleted and easily restarted. There's no central control of the Supreme Court. There's no accurate document keeping. Everything is run in a group chat or various group chats that are completely outside the scope and subject to what the Chief Justice wants when he wants it. This is
JT, I'm going to butt in here real quick. When I resigned from the Supreme Court, I'm going to jump in for a second. Right when
One second. We have some breaking news.
We do have breaking news?
We do. The Secretary of Homeland Security is currently being prosecuted by the District Attorney General's office for cuff rushing.
Oh, wow.
How does the White House respond to this, Madam President?
White House thinks that the cuff rushing bill passed by DCCC is idiotic.
Well, it looks like the Supreme Court will have another case very shortly.
I mean, cuff rushing is a part of the game. It's a core part of the gameplay.
But as I was saying, JT, right before I resigned from the court, I had, along with Tony and a few others, completely redone how cases were handled. They're no longer handled directly in a group chat. It's handled in threads within the district court server. At least discussion of said cases. Unless there was one.
Sorry.
There was a few cases that were handled directly in the group chat, because they were involving GMs, and we did not want them to directly see what was going on.
That's fair. And sorry.
That was the only time during my tenure on the court that we used a group chat. Otherwise, they were all handled within threads within the Supreme Court server.
That's fine, and that's a good concrete change that may have been made afterwards, but that doesn't excuse the way that Tony treats his fellow colleagues. There's just simply no excuse for the rude personality, the constant bashing. It's just not acceptable.
When I was on the court, I never saw Tony attack anybody, be rude to any of the other justices, or anything like that. Even from when I was the clerk all the way up to my tenure on the court. I've known Tony for probably almost 10 years at this point. I've never seen him act like that towards anybody, so I don't really know what you're talking about, JT.
That's totally fine, and I get it. And no
Listen,
offense
you're more
to
than
you as his friend, but we most likely had different experiences, and we experienced things differently. The way I saw it was he was a maniacal control freak running the Supreme Court. And that's kind of how I read the situation. You might have read it differently, and that's totally fine. But I know how I felt there, and I didn't feel safe as a member of Tony's court.
I actually have a report from an anonymous source that states Tony did call Justice Darrell Powell behind closed doors, I quote, retarded, and said he is a, quote, awful writer.
Damn.
Bruh.
There's a lot. This is heavy, bro. Tonight's been heavy.
I wanted to bring out.
I know it's been pretty heavy.
Anyways, I wanted to discuss.
Respond to those allegations about that he treated everyone nice that are currently on the court. I would disagree. It might be behind closed doors, but still.
I mean, everyone's saying that it's so heavy, but I think the reality of it is a lot of us knew that, Tony might be a great legal mind, but his priority just hasn't been NUSA. He's been focused otherwhere, and in return, he's admitted to neglecting NUSA and collaborating to keep us out of the UN. That's not something we want.
You have to look at it as the president at that point did not want to be in that UN.
I mean,
so was he really collaborating against the United States at that point?
Irregardless of what the president wanted, Tony still engaged in those conversations, spoke with them, worked through it, was involved. Tony took a role in that, irregardless of what POTUS wanted and the outcome that was desired. Tony engaged in those actions to the detriment of NUSA. That's all I've got to say. Hope you all have a great night. Thank you all for listening.
All right, let's circle back.
United doesn't have two-step authentication. That's crazy. Go ahead, continue.
Yeah, let's double back on cuff rushing. What's idiotic about the municipality finding cuff rushing to be an abusive mechanic of the game? It was put in the game, but it was probably put into the game mistakenly because back in the day,
I would not say it's not that it's mistaken as a developer. But okay.
Well,
how else are you supposed to cuff someone?
As somebody who's been here since back in the day, I remember people used to use guns. People used to actually use guns, and people actually used to be good. So if your agents were good, why are you complaining about cuff rushing? Because your agents aren't good.
Use guns, but if I'm in a room
and suck, you guys
shooting at me, if somebody is right in front of me shooting at me, and you're telling me that I can't use an arrest tool, that's stupid.
Did you read the bill?
It's an attack on federal agencies.
Did you read? You're exaggerating. Did you read the bill?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I read the one that you tried to pass with the federal government.
I didn't try to pass that. That was a counterpart.
Sorry.
Yeah. You see? Don't. Yeah. There you go.
I mean, you guys do work together.
Well, he works for me.
I also think that it's more realistic to be arrested rather than shot dead for crimes.
Okay, but but it's unrealistic to say, somebody is like 10, 15 studs away. It's unrealistic in real life that somebody is immediately going to pull out handcuffs and put cuffs on you like that. All right, that's not going to happen.
They'd rather detain the suspect than shoot them dead.
Detain them with a taser. You're going to incapacitate first you're going to incapacitate, and you've been shot, so you're going to pull your gun out.
Considering
Not
how
a
the
taser.
weapons are in
You're
this
not
game
going
and
to
how fast
detain
people
somebody.
move,
If somebody shoots at you, you're going to shoot back as a cop. So if
They're
your agents,
standing.
if
If
agents
they
were
are
properly
standing,
trained, if agents were properly trained, people wouldn't be rushing to pull out the arrest tool,
Listen.
sprinting with the newly added stamina and cuff
Good
rushing
choice,
and not
United.
using
Good
any of their
choice.
tools. The
they are
problem is
trained.
barely.
The new law has already been abused to specifically attack SS and
can,
FBI, two agencies
I have
that
multiple
typically go head to head with municipal
I have
government.
multiple African Americans who are telling me cops are not trained and treating them with racial discrimination,
Exactly.
especially
And
at
I'm
the
one of
federal
them.
level.
I avidly do crime every single night on Americans team, and I can tell you that I am a victim of Chexberger's cuff rushing. All right.
Every
Yeah,
day,
you
millions of
fired?
people
No,
are
why
able to
hasn't he
suffer
been
from
fired?
Chexberger's cuff
Wasn't there an
rushing.
order to have
But
Chexberger
you
fired
can
from
end
the
this.
FBI? Why has he not been fired?
Chexberger, it does not work in the federal government anymore.
For less than
Chexberger
just
is
2
labeled.
cents a day, you too can help us end cuff rushing.
So the
Please,
DC
won't you
government,
donate?
the DC government recognizes Chexberger as an invasive species. Last term, we actually passed legislation that put pest control into the city. So technically, if you are employed by pest control, you can kill Chexberger legally because he is a pest to our city.
Real.
All right.
This is
And
why you
this
play
whole cuff
Roblox
rushing thing.
instead of being bluffed.
My favorite
He's
meme from this
also
group.
employed though. He can't cuff rush you.
That's okay. That's good. But
Thank you.
everybody else who cuff rushes deserves to be prosecuted. And the federal government's not going to do that. So the municipal government, the true government of NUSA, has your guys' back for
The
everybody.
true government.
Who's standing up for the
No,
people?
the
Who's standing up
federal
for
government.
the people who are disproportionately affected by cuff rushing, who you guys fail to recognize and say it's not a problem? Say it's part of the game's mechanic.
You're
It's,
only
yeah,
talking about a Rigi.
I'm not only talking. No, I get cuff rushed too.
Get
Daily.
better.
I do too.
I do.
What's so bad about
Literally
cuff
get
rushing?
better.
Tell your
I wonder why.
agents to
Hashtag
get.
me too.
I wonder what's
Hashtag
going.
me too.
I wonder
your
what the problem is with cuff rushing. Like
The
I don't even know that
The
much.
problem is people aren't using their tools. That's the problem these days. That
Yeah,
right there
the
is
arrest
the problem.
tool. I'll use
That's
it.
the only tool.
It's just that people
yeah.
don't want to get arrested. Like, let's be real.
No, it's the fact
Yeah.
that you have a stamina function now, so you can sprint at somebody going twice as fast as they used to be going before.
Oh, that's what cuff rushing is.
It's basically abusing your arrest and manipulating the game to ensure that the person who is basically attacking you has no chance. And
It's a necessary counter, considering half of these criminals are using those speed enhancers, and so sometimes it's the only way to stand up against, because these criminals usually have better weapons than some law enforcement agency, so it's usually their only option.
Okay, but the difference is the criminals have to buy the weapons. Also, just so you guys are aware, there's no
Not if you're
no
from an
permanent.
underground team.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, but how many criminals are on the underground team unless you're part of a criminal organization? I do crime on Americans.
How much money do you have in your bank account in DC?
Currently $704,000 because I just got done robbing the White House.
Was that from generous donations?
Exactly.
From various
Criminals
banks, White
have
House,
more money than these
Treasury
law
Corps?
enforcement officers because
It was
of
just various donations.
because of the crimes
wrong
they commit.
because when I was a law enforcement officer, I had this amount of money too because I was robbing everything off team, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm
I
not
encourage
saying there's
robbing and
anything
crime
wrong
off
with
team.
that. I'm saying is that cuff rushing is a necessary part of the game.
And also, your officers wouldn't be so broke if you passed and authorized wage increases like the DC government did for our people, because we're the true government that cares about our people. So maybe the federal government should authorize wage increases, and the DC City Council can work in conjunction to get that passed, and the devs can implement that. But
Is that not your
Yeah.
prerogative?
no, I'm just saying when we tried to touch federal wages, because we did last term when I was the elected mayor, we were told that the federal government has to authorize that. So if your people are broke, there's how to solve it. MPD is the most paid people in the city, so let's get that done for some federal agencies too. Like I think SS FBI, even though FBI is having problems and stuff with MPD, I think their activity has been impressive. So I think they do deserve a pay increase too. So
Well, let's get it done.
yeah, let's do it. Cause and fight
What's your
inflation. Okay.
I'm United. I did not take away your screen share, by the way.
It was fun. I loved it.
I didn't do
my
that.
phone
I don't know
comes
who
here
did
1
that.
o'clock Eastern. Okay. I think this is a good time to wrap it up for tonight because there's nothing
also?
else
Just
going
want to
on.
make it clear, as my position as Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, I just want to make it clear my primary mission is to address the critical housing crisis.
Yeah? Hi, what? Not now.
Faces unique and compounded challenges that create stable and affordable housing. Thank you.
I wanted to discuss. I know
agree.
we're going to wrap things up, but before we go, I want to discuss a poll I ran during the press conference. The press conference has brought discussion about the old One USA rule back into the forefront. Do you believe it's time to reinstate that rule?
Who are you talking to?
All of you guys in general.
Yes,
I think we shouldn't have done away with that rule because we know how many
I
USAs
agree.
are out there to try to take our spot.
Literally.
I definitely think if you are in a civil office in NUSA, you should not be participating in another USA.
When I
Clear
resign
conflict
and
of
run for
interest,
office, I will
treason.
propose a One USA rule to be brought back.
I
This
thought
is
it was
my
a
political
GM
point for the day.
intervention.
It was.
I'm pretty sure it was. 'Cause
Yeah, so this isn't anything that we can do.
it's in the
Because,
Constitution.
yeah, the Constitution says that you can't be in another USA. It specifically says that. But GM said otherwise.
I definitely agree. If you are in a civil office position, you should not be in another position in another USA. Clear conflict of interest, clear treason, as we've seen by Tony.
Jake, when we end this call, call so we can wrap this up separately outside of the stage.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but thank you everyone for your honest insight tonight. We will be back on the air whenever there's anything. Anything else y'all want to say?
The DC government is the true government of the people.
John Doom for City Council. Thank you very much,
False.
everyone. Stay
God bless Milwaukee
stay
Wallaroo.
tuned to FTN. We have a
Amen.
wrap up coming up in a minute.
May God
Stand
bless
by.
Batman.
There has been your latest doom. Everyone just dropping into the. There you see everyone dropping into the lounge.
Are we still on the air?
Yeah, we're still on the air.
Yes. Thanks for sticking with us through that brief pause to review everything that's just happened. Earlier tonight, Speaker of the House Technozo came out with a accusation against the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Tony Giordano, alleging that he put his emissions outside of NUSA rather than his NUSA duties in the Supreme Court. The Speaker has accused. Let's see, where is it? If I can find it again. And we're just has accused the Chief Justice of. You can see it in the group, the DM itself, the whole PDF. He's called the Chief Justice to issue a public apology, authorize the creation of an independent Inspector General, and create an enforceable code of ethics within 12 hours. The Chief Justice responded saying that it would be impossible to set up something like that within 12 hours, but that he would have something within the next week. Among other things that he's responded to. We're just also getting word that the Speaker of the House is currently typing in congressional updates, so we're going to remain on the air while we see that itself. But Jake, do you have any comment on tonight's whole ordeal?
I mean, this is very concerning, especially I'd say the most concerning and damning thing for me is the toxicity in the workplace and his deal with George Godson regarding the United Nations. As someone especially interested in foreign affairs, that's concerning, but I'm going to also check.
This just in from
Hold
the
on.
from the Speaker of the House. The Chief Justice stated in his letter that it would take longer than 12 hours to work on a code of ethics. While long overdue, it is reasonable. We expect to see it next week, and we'll have more to say on the rest of his letter very soon. So it seems like the Chief Justice will give, no, the Speaker will give the Chief Justice some time on this.
Which is surprising considering I was expecting Technoza to play hardball regarding all of this. But surprising. Let's take you to City Hall.
What's going on in City Hall?
Matrix OC being prosecuted for cuff rushing, of course. That's another story that was, I guess. That was announced.